Hey everyone, in this video I want to share some of the most common mistakes that I see people making with Pipedrive. And what I'm sharing today is pretty much based on the experience I have working with many consulting clients. I help companies to set up their accounts and I train their teams. Through that experience I've seen people make the same mistakes again and again and again. So I want to share those mistakes with you today so that you can use Pipedrive properly and get more out of this tool. Now if you have any questions at the end of this video, feel free to leave me a question in the comments. Otherwise, if you do want one-on-one support with Pipedrive, use the link in the description to book a complimentary 30-minute intro call with me. I'd love to learn what you're trying to do, and we can talk through some of my support and consulting options as well. Right, into this video. So, bar none, one of the biggest mistakes that I see people make is not taking advantage of the activities. Now, Pipedrive is designed, it's got a very activity-centric approach to its design. So, a lot of people, here we go, we have a new deal. A lot of people have a deal and they kind of just will move it through the stages and use Pipedrive as a bit of a dashboard really for just seeing where is everything at. That is just the tip of the iceberg. And to get the most out of Pipedrive, we really want to use it to manage our tasks and to-dos so that you've got some kind of reminder about what you need to do with each of these deals. Because if you're anything like me, when you have lots of balls in the air, lots of deals running, it can be very easy to forget the details of each one. So it's useful to have an activity that reminds you about what you need to do to move this deal forwards. So for example, here's a deal. It's currently in my prospecting stage. The next stage I want to get them to is meeting arranged. So purely through the definition of this stage, I need to book a meeting with this person. So I'm going to schedule an activity. I'm going to come here. I could call them. I could email. I'm just going to say email. And I'm going to say schedule call with Paul. There we go. Maybe I'm going to do that tomorrow. And let's save that. Boom. So really simple. I've created a little task, little reminder for myself. Tomorrow, when I look at Pipedrive, I'm going to see this and I'm going to remember to send an email to schedule a call with Paul. Now, you really then, take advantage and to keep on top of your activities, you need to be working from this activities tab that you see at the top of Pipedrive. So here are my activities for today. I've actually completed them all. If I look at tomorrow, I can flick ahead and I can see what I've got coming up tomorrow, including the one that I just created down there. So here's my task list. So the best way to use Pipedrive, this is key, the best way to use Pipedrive is in the morning when you log onto your computer and you open up Pipedrive, come straight to your activities and work through this task list. So let's go back to Paul. Tomorrow, what am I going to do? I'm going to email Paul, okay? So I'm going to mark that as done. Great. Now I just sit back and wait for Paul's response. No, Paul might not get back to me. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to schedule another email, maybe a few days away, maybe early next week, follow up with Paul about the meeting. You know, because Paul's probably not going to, a lot of times, you know, clients don't respond. They're busy. Not everyone enjoys meetings, so I'm going to follow up. So I've got that reminding me to follow up. And this is key, every deal that you have needs to have an activity. Just because I've sent that email, I can't relax now. I can't just assume Paul's going to respond. I need to follow up. And a lot of the time, I even phrase my activities, email follow-up, because I just constantly have to be chasing people, like any good salesman. So yeah, as soon as you mark a deal, as soon as you complete an activity, create a new activity reminding you to follow up or to take some kind of new action. So what I might do as well is, you know, I'm going to get them into that meeting, and then I'm going to let's speculate that Paul books the meeting, okay? So what I might do is then I might actually delete this activity. I don't need to follow up anymore. And then I can create a new activity for the introductory call or meeting that we're going to have, and I can, you know, put that at the time that we've decided we're going to meet. So that's the first big thing that you really need to do to take advantage of Pipedrive. It's a huge mistake I see people make, is just not using Pipedrive as a to-do list. And when you do, you will be on top of your deals and things will just fall through the cracks a lot less. Next big mistake I see people make is with their pipeline setup. I actually talked about this in another video, but in their pipeline setup, people often have at the end over here a won and lost stage. So they drag them into the won column or the lost column. What you actually need to do is use these buttons, because when you use these buttons, by marking a deal as one, the value of the deal over here, when you actually have a value, feeds into the report, so you can actually see how much revenue you've earned. And if you mark it as lost, you can actually specify a reason, and you will actually learn why deals aren't closing. So don't use stages, just take advantage of the won and lost buttons. And on that topic, leading me on to another common mistake, is in your settings, in your company settings, lost reasons, I highly recommend disabling this option, which is to allow free-form entry of lost reasons. This isn't really a mistake, but I highly recommend you turn this off. Reason being, if I go and let's take this deal, if I mark this as lost, if I have a free-form option here, it means that when I go to my reports, I'm in now deals lost, you can see down here, organized by reason. I can now see a nice graph of why deals don't close. For me, my most common issue is people just don't respond. So frustrating. Anyway, however, so this is nice and neat. However, if I had the free-form entry here turned on, anyone, and this is, I mean, I'm just a solo business owner, but if you have a big team, people might be typing all sorts of things in here. They might be using lowercase, uppercase, and this report is going to get very messy with each reason that people put in. So I recommend disabling this so that you can have a nice clean report that's actually a lot more useful for you as well. Another big mistake is, let's go to our calendar settings. So I'm in personal settings, Google Calendar over here. Now, a great feature of Pipedrive is that you can sync your activities, these ones here that we talked about that are super important, you can sync them to your calendar. Now, I do recommend you customize what you sync to the calendar. If you sync everything, when you turn this on, by default you'll sync everything, that can create a huge mess on your calendar because you'll have all your email follow-ups showing as all-day appointments, can create a real mess. So I do recommend only syncing the things that you want to see on your calendar. For me, I want to see calls if I've got them scheduled, time I've set aside for proposals and tasks, or meetings if I've got those as well. So I only choose to sync certain things. So just be a bit selective about what you choose to sync. Second kind of part to this is, and a big mistake I see people make, is having this option here enabled, which is to sync all events between Google Calendar and Pipedrive. What does that mean? What this means is that when you turn this on, Pipedrive will look at all of the events in your calendar. Let's say you've got a coffee with your mum, and it's going to create an activity on the day and at the time of that appointment that you had. So maybe it's a personal appointment, doctor's appointment. That then becomes an activity up here. You can see Google Calendar events will appear in Pipedrive as, and you can select an activity. So all of those calendar appointments that you've set up, might even be personal things, will sync back to Pipedrive and be set up as brand new activities. Now, this is going to create a ton of random activities in here for all of the appointments you've got or you've created. So I highly recommend you only choose to sync events added from Pipedrive, like calls that you're scheduling, creating proposals, that kind of thing. When you have this other option chosen, it's going to create a huge mess in your activities tab. So there you are. Those are some common mistakes that people make. If I had to summarize the biggest one, I mean, I said it at the beginning, it's the activities. Use the activities, make it a habit every day of coming in here, working from this activities tab, using Pipedrive as a to-do list. Most people don't, and they're really losing a lot of value that Pipedrive can provide. So yeah, if you have any questions about either of these things, leave me a question. Otherwise, if you want one-on-one support, I look forward to hopefully speaking with you soon. And thanks very much for watching this video.